Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we are returning to Strategic Command World War I, our Let's Play series, playing as the Entente against the Central Powers in the Grand Campaign, but playing this in a multiplayer game. So I'm playing against Alex Berry, the board game designer of High Treason, The Trial of Louis Riel, and then also The Corrupt Bargain. It looks like our turn is back. We're about to jump into the third turn of this game. In the first turn, the Germans broke into Belgium, but didn't do too much damage. They took Liège, and that was about it. Not much happened in the Eastern Front, a slight incursion into Russia. In the second turn, they took Brussels, but didn't, and created a little bit of a gap. We managed to destroy an enemy unit and push another back to close that gap as the BEF came into play, and that's where we find ourselves now. So we'll see how this turn plays out. As a reminder, these replays are pretty quick, so we'll see what happened here as it prepares the replay. So first thing, he's sending a sub against our right flank of the blockade line here. Looks like he pulled his destroyer back from Russia. He was laying some mines there. He's got a pre-dreadnought ship. He's trying to get the Austrian fleet out of harm's way. We managed to destroy a dreadnought last turn of his in the Adriatic, so that was a pretty big victory for us. Meanwhile, we also destroyed a Russian corps south of Lemberg, but now he just destroyed two of ours that had been attempting to encircle Lemberg, so those are pretty bad casualties there on the Russian front. Meanwhile, he just destroyed a cavalry unit driving into Poland, so he is all out on the offensive here on the Eastern Front with the Germans and the Austrians. We'd committed most of our forces to the Lemberg assault, but that was not a great result all along. Meanwhile, he's trying to destroy a corps here on the French front, but doesn't really break through there. He manages to destroy two French corps in front of Reims, but we still have another line back behind them, so it's a pretty bloody turn for the French, I would say. Not an ideal scenario here. Meanwhile, it looks like he is assaulting toward the Russian forces near Tannenberg. We have those troops dug in, so those fared a little bit better. And he also did destroy one detachment, not a corps, there in Serbia. Some cavalry is deploying for us. And I would say this last turn was probably not great for us. I don't think it was decisive by any means, but it certainly wasn't a great result. The Russians lost two corps. The three corps, a cavalry corps, two infantry corps, and the Kutno detachment. The French lost two corps, and the Serbians lost a detachment. So, not great results here. Both Norway and Sweden provide Germany with raw materials to aid their war effort. The most effective way to stop this would be using diplomacy to pressure them both to stop trading with Germany. With enough diplomatic pressure, the Norwegian government will even start providing us with these raw materials instead. Okay. So we could try and do that. The Indian Army can quickly make available 2 corps, 1 infantry, 1 cavalry for service in France. The infantry are ready to sail. If we say no, they'll join slightly earlier in Egypt. I'm going to say no. I'd rather they deploy to Egypt. I'm assuming we're going to fight the Ottomans soon. Commander of the 20th Corps, Lieutenant General Ferdinand Foch, is an outstanding officer, blah, blah, blah. Yes. I'll take a headquarters at a discount. Meanwhile, the British have 2 corps coming online, a cavalry corps and the 3rd Corps at Portsmouth. So they deployed there. Montenegro has a fresh corps coming online this turn. That'll be very useful. So did we get any fresh troops here on the French front? Because we did lose a couple units there, which was not ideal. So we need to dig these guys in. Alright, let's go for the 10th German Corps here. using the BEF kind of as our expeditionary force. Why can I not dig these guys in? They're going to be very vulnerable without the ability to be dug in. I would have thought they would have had enough movement points left to be dug in. Okay. I'd like to destroy this 10th Corps here. These guys are already dug in, right? No? Huh. Okay, so I suppose let's assault the other Corps here as well. Can I attack and entrench the same turn? I don't know the answer to that. We destroyed their infantry here. These guys are already dug in. That's why I'm not quite sure. Maybe it would just be extending the entrenchments, because at least it looks like they're dug in. It says they're entrenched. We've got the little squiggly line here. If they're not entrenched, it just says ground cover, so they must be entrenched. Alright. So we lost 2 corps. The Germans likewise lost 2 corps. I'm not going to attack these guys. I'm going to dig these guys in. You really only have 4 action points? So that'll use up all their action points to move them in there? Fuck. I don't know that this is wise, but in theory I can move these guys here, have them entrench. So yes, they did move and entrench the same turn. So we destroyed 2 German corps on the front. I don't like having a cavalry unit here. That seems very dangerous. Should have used my airborne, but I want to reinforce them this turn. Is it wise to force march them? Let's just do this. Let's move these guys. I'm not too worried about him forcing his way through Verdun, so let's do this. Let's move adjacent here. And we'll move these guys into Verdun, because they'll still get 3 entrenchments there. So these guys move 1 into this trench line. The real issue is this 1 unit here, the 8th Corps up here, is not in a great spot. These 2 British corps are behind the line, so they fought, and now they'll need some reinforcements. But now we can kind of rest them. Wouldn't shock me if he tries to gang up on this cavalry unit. Or turn our flank by defeating these 2 detachments in the north. But it's September, and he's made no real deep push. So our front is definitely thinner now that we don't have any French units to deploy, right? Our front is definitely thinner now that we lost those 2 corps last turn, but on the positive side, he lost 2 corps. And these guys are all nicely entrenched down here in the south. Let's spend our points to reinforce some of these French units which didn't move. Same for some of these British units. So our airborne, our air units, and by the way, someone mentioned these being fighters. Both of our air units are bomber units right now, so just keep that in mind. But, looks like the Western Front is pretty much done for this turn. No more mines here for these guys. They have to return to port, maybe? They get more of them? I don't really know how mines work in the game. Okay. Let's go for this destroyer here. Maybe we can... Yeah, destroyers are good against enemy submarines, but... less so the cruisers, huh? So we did badly shoot up the U-14. That's also... I was just hoping maybe we'd get lucky and do some damage there. Okay, adding more ships to the blockade line. I don't love spending considerable amounts of money on the fleet right now. Just making sure there's no subs on those national morale objectives. It'd be tempting to attack the third corps up here in the north. Get a 2 to 3, so in theory get them down to a 5. 4. Yeah, I probably don't have the strength. I don't want to attack if I'm not gonna not be successful. Why does it say ground cover? This is a fortress. Well, it goes from 3 of ground cover to 3 entrenchments by me digging in there, so I guess that's a good thing. Alright, so 2 German units destroyed on the Western Front this turn. Meanwhile, his Austrian fleet, let's see what his national morale is, 94%. Austria has 7 ships left. He's got a armored cruiser here. Okay. God damn it, I clicked the wrong... I didn't want to move him there. Alright, can we please get this armored cruiser? I feel like destroying an enemy warship would be kind of a big deal. Got it! 500 national morale. Alright, that moves what? They're at 93% now? Okay. Let's actually move the ship up this way and see what we can. Can we? I don't think bombs make sense. Can we just do recon? I just want to see what's out this way. I don't want to sail the ship. Okay, so he's got a pocket. He's got a pre-dreadnought battleship, at least one up here. He's got 3 more warships down here, so that's 4. And then we know he's got 1 sub, so that's 5. So he's got maybe 1 more ship in port here. Although the seaplane carrier is going to be a little vulnerable now that we... Oh, there's the last ship, actually. It's right there. So let's actually protect the seaplane carrier. I'd rather lose a cruiser or something else. Man, can you do some damage to this thing? There you go. Spend a bunch of money repairing a light cruiser in a Montenegrin harbor. Move our dreadnought up this way. She's under strength, but everything in this theater is naval-wise. Okay. Alright, so they did take Valjevo, however you pronounce that, which does link their front lines here on a rail line along the Belgrade front. So that is not great. Let's reinforce. We're on the Serbian front now. Alright, these guys are at 2 out of 3. These guys aren't even dug in. My fear is he's just going to overwhelm the defenders of... Like, does it make more sense to try and attack and weaken this guy? Or does it make more sense to dig in? Because he can attack like 7 units against Belgrade if I do nothing. At least in this case, maybe we, you know... He's probably not going to attack with this corps now, the 12th Corps, I would think. Okay, so at least maybe we removed 1 corps from his attack. If I was him, I think the most logical thing would be to attack the 1st Corps, which is not dug in here. And then you can surround Belgrade and defeat it another turn. That's what I would do. Meanwhile, on the Russian front... Is he really going to try and drive into Poland right now? He's got the one cavalry unit here. Alright, destroyed an enemy cavalry unit there. Cavalry's just dying left and right all over this field. So the Germans lost another unit there, thankfully. Can I do recon over here? It's too far away. What are these guys set to? They're set to the recon bombers. Alright, we can recon this unit. That's as far as the recon will reach. Lemberg being the National Morale Center really sucks. It's like, do you just go over onto the defensive and... Trying to bypass and drive into Kolmia. Maybe we can flank them. Stanislaw is also a national morale objective. Should have entrenched both those units. Don't have the strength to do so. So what's better? Alright, let's do this. Let's attack this unit. We got it reconned. We'll do damage. Okay. So we are threatening again with a unit that can't dig in. We'll probably lose that unit that just attacked and destroyed that enemy infantry. Hopefully we don't lose 2 units this turn. So we badly shot up a cavalry corps near Kolma. Or Kolmia. And then we did destroy a corps near Lemberg and drove the enemy back 1 hex in that region. Again, he can probably move in a whole bunch of units to attack it, to retake that position, and destroy Russian corps, maybe more. But... wait, this corps only has 5 strength? Alright, we destroyed a German corps near Tarnow. Then moved forward and attacked a Austrian unit in its rear. And then destroyed an Austrian corps in Tarnow. Nice. I don't know that those guys can survive there, but we'll move them into Tarnow proper, which at least has some entrenchments. Probably not from the direction they're coming from, but... Attack a Landwehr Corps here in Germany. Destroy another corps here along the German border. Pull some of these guys back. Most of these guys aren't entrenched, which is not a good thing. Let's pull this cavalry back across the river. Maybe it won't get attacked here. Meanwhile, the Grenadier Corps and the 14th Corps likely will. But I also don't know what he's got to throw at them. He's concentrated a lot of his troops east near Lemberg. He's got a bunch of troops on the Serbian border. We got all the way into the rear toward the Dankel headquarters. So hopefully, for us anyway, he can't really go that way. Ah, shit. Well, we're going to lose this 13th Corps. I tried to move it to Kutno where it could take up defensive position in that town, but there's a German reserve corps in Thorn. So they're going to destroy that corps. We'll shift the first... I wanted to move the first guards down to support the Tarnow formation. Do I have anybody else who can move? Well, let's see. Let's operate these guys. North of Lutz. At least they'll act as a blocking force, and then we've also got the 4th Corps in this fortress near Warsaw. Okay. We could swing this cavalry. We'll probably assault the troops at Tannenberg, too. Alright, so we do have some vulnerable positions along this front line, in particular the troops south of Lemberg. Also, the troops near Tarnow could be vulnerable if he's got enough units around to counterattack them. Be funny if we just drove on Vienna. I like the idea of leaving a corps in reserve near Gordino. But maybe we're... Problem is I don't know the facing of this fortification here near the Masurian Lakes. I don't think they can dig in. I think this is like a cursed hex. Now, they can only bring a unit facing of 1 against them, but I think the fortifications are facing the wrong direction. I'm going to move the cavalry into this wood line, mainly to extend the line of the Tannenberg force, to try and limit how many troops he can bring against me. He's got 3 cores here near Allenstadt, 4 really. 2 garrison cores, and then at least 2 cores up near Königsberg. He could bring them down to destroy this core, which is dug in southwest of Tannenberg, but then at least we've got another core back here on this fortress town. I do think he's going to destroy the 13th Corps north of Kutno, but then where is he going to go? Like, we've got this fortress unit blocking the direct approach to Warsaw, I think. I suppose we could move these guys out this way, too. Just in case. Not that a detachment in the open's going to do much, but they might do something. Meanwhile, we do have some troops back we can operate forward as well. So put another corps in toward Warsaw to block it. Is that everything? Might be. So we could definitely destroy the garrisons guarding our extreme left near Pruskov, but again, it's quite. I think it's a question of how aggressive does he want to be. The Austrians' morale's down to 90. Russia's at 97 still. Germany's at 96. They've lost a fair number of units, Germany has. So again, like, they lost 2 more units on the Western Front. Does he want to continue trying to push and break through there? It's not likely that he makes a major breakthrough at this point, I don't think, in the West. The East probably has more opportunity for him, especially with the losses we've been taking. And the losses that the Austrians have been taking, frankly. The Austrians have 23 units. What can we see? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So they have 4 more units, the Austrians do, that we can't see on the map right now, which presumably means he doesn't have a ton of spare Austrian troops to bring forward to help on this mountainous front, as we've destroyed several. Now, the problem is, on the east, we're also dealing with the Germans, who have a lot of units also. The Germans have 46 units. $12 of which we've spotted on the Eastern Front. $17 on the Western Front. So that's, what, 29 units? That means there's at least 17 more we haven't seen. Now, even if you assume 5 or so of those aren't, you know, are like headquarters or something, they've still got another 12 or so units somewhere. Now, you know, maybe they got 1 in Bromberg, 1 in Königsberg, 1, you know, they could have garrisons scattered out as well. We don't know the breakdown of those units. Kind of inclined to try and bombard the German troops here north of Königsberg. Is there a way to clear mines? Like, how are you supposed to... How do I get rid of those mines? Anyway, I don't think I want to spend a bunch of prestige upgrading the Russian Navy. I think what Russia does need to do is they need to spend money on probably infantry warfare, maybe infantry weapons. And then production and logistics, I would guess. Those would be kind of important for them. Not a lot of spare cash right now, though. And the British, meanwhile, diplomacy, it was like, hey, try and get Sweden to not ship weapons and stuff. So Norway's neutral. But I think for this turn, both France... Let's do infantry weapons for France. I would be spending that. And England. Okay. Then I suppose the remainder of that money could go toward upgrades for the fleet. Okay. Or we could just save it. French fleet's losing a lot of morale too. What's the current? Go to national morale. The Austrians are on a steady downward trend. They did pop up a bit after the fall of their border towns. No real meaningful movement from anyone, really. It's all pretty flat. The French are losing more units than they are bringing in income. I mean, I'm assuming everybody is at this point. France and Germany, or France and Britain definitely are. Serbia is, but to a less dramatic extent. Russia's losing considerably more. Germany's losing way more. They lost almost 1,000 MPPs worth of units this turn. And then same for Austria-Hungary. Did we? If we do detailed losses. The Austrians have now lost 3 corps, 1 cavalry corps, so they've lost 4 ground units, 1 dreadnought, 1 armored cruiser, and 1 naval mine. I don't know that the naval mine matters. Germany has lost 4 corps and 3 cavalry corps. So Germany's actually lost more units. The Russians have lost 2 cavalry corps, 2 infantry corps, and a detachment. So the Russians have actually lost less so far. The Serbians have lost 1 detachment. The French 3 corps. The British 1 corps, 1 detachment, 1 light cruiser. So, some interesting statistics here. I am very nervous about all these ships in the Adriatic just because they're all so weak. But again, hopefully, he's not reinforcing his pre-dreadnoughts to come out here at like 10 strength and just wipe us. I think it's very funny. I used a Montenegrin port to upgrade this French cruiser. Let's just save that money. I think, or, you know, I can't get anybody to full strength. I can get close. It's probably worth just saving the money for a turn. And we'll see what happens. Now let's end the turn, because as I've learned, events will occur. Well, let's just make sure we're not forgetting anything. Yes, I know most of the fleet is doing nothing. Alright, so it's just naval stuff left. Gotcha. Alright, let's end the turn. General Joffre. Given the threat facing our channel ports, the Navy's offered to provide a unit of Marines to help defend Bologna. The unit of Fusilier Marines will not be very powerful, but it may be able to hold the area for long enough to delay the enemy forces. Okay, sure. More units is always good, I think. The UK adds Agincourt to her dreadnought fleet. Russian mobilization continues. More ground units showing up. Central Powers raiders are disrupting Russian convoys. Entente naval units north of Scotland are blocking Germany's imports and also in the North Sea, so we did get that for both of those. And German raiders are still upsetting commerce. So that's that for the turn. So another turn where I think we'll only do one turn and one recording. A lot of hemming and hawing on my part, but hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave me your thoughts on this series. I know some of you were commenting on, don't move them out of entrenchments and then move someone else in because it, you know, it hurts them. But like sometimes that's the only way to get units where you need them to be so that you can have a devastating attack. So that's sort of been my logic, but we'll see if it comes back to bite me. He's certainly been doing it too, so we'll see. Probably lose another corps or two in front of Lemberg, maybe. I'm really curious to see what he's going to do with the breakthrough kind of to the west of Lemberg, right? Like, I think he can punish the Russians in front of Lemberg. However, if he doesn't respond to the breakthrough west of there, then what's he going to do? Now, I don't really have headquarters units in position to support a drive going deep into Austria. Wouldn't shock me if he redeploys a bunch of German units, which I don't really want my Russians to be facing either. So, we'll see. Anyway, guys, until next time, this is the Historical Gamer saying thank you very much for watching, and until next time, I'm out.